All right, my friends, so we are looking at a TV box, Android TV box. And this is not something we normally or do a lot of reviews on. So we're going to make this simple, I think, make it quick, I hope. This is the TaNix Android 9 TV box. It is the 4 gig version with 64 gig. It is their, I think, Deluxe version is what they call it. As you can see on their website here, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, Bluetooth 5, updated smart TV box, 4K compatible, etc., etc. We're going to take a look at, again, what comes in the box with this. We're also going to take a look at the software that is included. So we will hook this into a television just to kind of get a look at how it's presented, what the user interface looks like, and what included software there is. And we're going to do that right now. So I don't know a lot about Android TV boxes. I'll throw that right out there. The folks at TaNix reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to test one of these?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds fantastic." Do you guys hear all the stuff that's going on? I don't know if my mic's picking it up. I got somebody back there doing all kinds of, I don't know, construction, or they're tearing down a tree or something. So if you keep hearing this like drilling or cutting, I don't even know what it is. That's that. It's been going on since like yesterday, so I've been trying to hold off to do these, but I can't. It's just, I don't know how long it's going to be going on for. So if you hear it, my apologies. We're just gonna work through it. Anyways, this is the box right here. As you can see on the front, this is the TaNix box. 4K, HEVC H.265 compatible, RJ45 Wi-Fi over the air. It does say on the back of the box here that this is the 4 gig version with the 64 gig of storage. So I believe this is the high-end version of their boxes that they have, because they do have versions that are lower. And of course, if you get one with less storage and less RAM, it may not perform quite to the standards that this one does, because those are important. Anyways, let's take a look at what comes in the box. First off, we get a little "Dear customer, thank you for choosing us." Basically, it has their support email on it. Promise to be able to assist you in 24 hours. So if that's true, fantastic. I don't know, haven't had to deal with them. But if you guys buy one of these, if you have one already and have had to have any experience with them, please leave it below, because I'm always interested. This is the TaNix TV box. Enjoy your life, because each and every one of us should enjoy our lives, I think. User manual. So inside here, we will see what's in the box, getting to know your box, installation guide, troubleshooting, and that's kind of it. So even though this looks like it's a fair size, multiple languages, really each language is going to be about 6 pages. Warranty wise, just so you guys know, it does say that it is warranted for parts and labor for 12 months. So be aware, parts and labor, 12 months, and don't put it by fire. There you go, nutshell, done. That's the manual, but good size manual. I think that's important, because a lot of us get these manuals. I get these manuals all the time, and I'm like, who can read this? It is so small. That's done well. That's good. We get the box. We will look at the box in a second. We get inside here the power adapter. We get a remote, and we do get a little HDMI cable. So that's also excellent. There we go. Put that all on the table here. So power, remote, and cable, HDMI. My guess is, my hope would be this is a HDMI 2.0 cable, because the TV box does support 4K, so we would kind of need that to do that. So fingers crossed. It'd be silly if they didn't, I guess. Here's the remote, and for anybody that has either another TV box or maybe a budget projector or budget, just about anything that you've possibly bought from Amazon before, this remote will be very familiar. Really, you guys can't hear that? I don't know if you can. Sounds like a chainsaw. Sounds like a chainsaw going off. Nobody's screaming, so that's good. Anyways, this is it. You will be very familiar with this remote if you have pretty much bought anything electronic-wise that's TV-based in the last year or two. This is kind of it. So if you're like me, what you'll end up doing is putting a piece of tape on the back to just say this remote is for this product, because I'll have like 7 of these. They all look the same, so just kind of be aware. It does take AAA batteries right here, which of course are not included. There is no AAA, but luckily for you and luckily for me, I have some sitting here because I figured I'd need them. So there we go, it's some AAA batteries. I think they have a charge. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But that's ready to rock and roll. Last but not least, we have the physical box. Here's the TaNix box, Deluxe edition. Oh yes, Deluxe. Has an antenna. Now that's kind of nice. Even though it may not cosmetically be nice, it will help us get better reception. And from my previous experience with a lot of, I say a lot of, but with the TV boxes that I've had an experience with, which really isn't that many, most of the antennas, I guess, are like internal, or they use Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and things like that. And the issue I always have is slow data transmission speed. So when you are trying to pull a file off the internet, or you are trying to stream something, even if you have a local server or anything like that, where it has to come through your Wi-Fi internal, not just external, but even internal, they're really slow. Hopefully this will help. We'll do a speed test just to see what the internet is giving us with this. And hopefully my thoughts are that's gonna help. We do have a little display on the front as well, which is kind of nice. I don't know what that's gonna show. Maybe it's gonna show the date and time. Time would be cool. USB 3 on the side here. So you do have one USB 3 over here, and you have a USB on the back as well. You do have your SPDIF. I don't even know how you actually say that, but that's your optical. There's your RJ45, HDMI, and your power. Other than that, that's it. We're good to go. TaNix Deluxe Edition. All right, let's go plug this into the TV, and see how it performs, I guess. All right, let's go there. Let's go do that. Okay. Okay, guys. So we've got the TaNix hooked into my television right now. It's connected. I've actually started it already, but I've turned it off because I wanted to get the system signed in to any accounts for some testing, as well as download an app, nothing too exciting, again for testing for you and I, so that we don't spend too much time while I'm sitting here logging into stuff. Now, I will say a couple things. For those that have never used something like this, you will see on the bottom, right here, hopefully you guys will see that, right there, it looks like a little tiny mouse. And that is going to be really useful for us when we are moving around in the menu. This is going to allow us to just kind of go up and down and hit enter and stuff like that, which is great. But there are some times, especially when you get into, let's say, the Google Play Store, that this doesn't want to go to the area that we want to click into. So if you click and hold or double click this, I can't remember, it'll turn it into a little on-screen mouse. And now you can move this to move the mouse around so that you can go click on things. Through most of the setups, that's actually what I used to get around, and then I clicked on this to go back to the standard way of navigating to actually move around the menu system. So just so you guys know, that little mouse button on the bottom, super useful. Now the other thing to be aware of is that the cables that come with this little box, both the HDMI cable and the power cable, are not very long. So I've got this sitting off to the side here because my power bar is right there on the floor. If it was any further, I'd kind of be out of luck. So just realize that you are going to want to sit this beside your TV fairly close, probably within 3 feet, 2 to 3 feet, I'd say. And your power cable is about the same distance. So make sure that you either have a plug-in close or a power bar that can help reach, or an extension cord or something. So I'm going to plug this in right now. Hopefully this should start up. And you'll see that it comes up here and says boot, little boot section right there. We get the intro screen. Now, if this is your first startup, of course, it's going to want you to go through about a 5-stage setup where country and connect to your Wi-Fi and things like that. Nice and simple. It didn't take too long, and it actually connected to my mesh network, which was fantastic. It'll also ask you to set up like your time zone and all that kind of goodness. And what happens is on the front, that screen will represent the time based on your time zone that you set. So we'll see it load, which is cool. And just two main things that we'll see. This is the Alice UI. Great little UI. You will see that it did connect to my Wi-Fi up there because I've set that up already, which is a 5 gigahertz network. So it did connect to that, which is great. Now, first thing that I want to show you guys, moving around on this, nice and simple. It's super easy. You will see that there's a little plus at the bottom here. This plus will allow you to put on the main screen any apps that you've downloaded from the Google Play Store. I downloaded this fast, which is something you and I are going to test. And because of that, I've just checked it so that it shows up on the main screen. There's a little back button. When you're finished, to get you back here, it'll show up on here. These are set as defaults, of course. If you come over to the side, You will see your settings. You will see access to all your apps if you don't want to have them set up on the main home screen. And then of course you do have just access to your main home screen. So those little three there can be somewhat useful. It's a really clean system. For those of us that buy this that may just want simplicity, there's not a lot of menu diving right off the bat, unless you want to. All right, so before we go into anything, I do want to just show you really quickly the actual settings on here. So if we do go into the settings, you guys can see a couple things. You will be able to see the network that you're attached to, any of your accounts for Gmail, Google that you're in here, your apps, device preferences, Droid settings, and of course Bluetooth. Let's say a Bluetooth controller or remote that you'd like to use. Droid settings, of course, is going to take you in here to show things like your display, audio output, definition, tools, picture, etc. Device preferences is all your information about your date and time, your language, storage. You guys can see it all up here on the screen. Any apps that you have. So this is the recently opened apps, permissions, etc., which is kind of cool. Your accounts that you have, and this is where your network would live so that you could switch networks, re-enter passwords, etc., etc. And we'll just exit out of there again and go back to our home. Now, just so you can see here as well, if we go into YouTube, now YouTube, because I have signed in already with my Google stuff, should automatically bring up my YouTube information to allow us to play something. So we'll try to stream something first. Now hopefully the network is fast enough so that we can stream something fairly quickly. Okay, so here we are. YouTube came up, signed in, excellent, fantastic, always good news. We are just going to click something that I have searched for before, something that is one of my old videos, because this way I can't get any copyright, and we'll just play this one right here. Now normally this would take forever to load on an old TV box and it would have problems streaming, but this has started right away, which is awesome, and it's getting full resolution. As you can see here, it's nice and clean. Yeah, that looks fantastic, and it came through nice and fast. And if we click on here, this is a 1080 TV, just so you guys know, and it actually says it's pulling it in 4K right now. So it's pulling a 4K signal, and I'm guessing it's downsampling it. But that's awesome, super good. The fact that it's actually pulling a 4K signal is going to make it even cleaner on this TV, which is really nice. Okay, so let's back out of here. That's working like a charm. Last thing we're going to test is network speed. Now my guess is network speed on this is going to be far surpass what I normally get out of a lot of these inexpensive Android TV boxes. So normally, like I said, I get about 5 to 10 megabits per second. Megabytes, I never get that right. And it has a real problem with streaming and stuttering as it's trying to buffer the show that I'm trying to download, be it a TV show or be it a video of my own on YouTube, whatever it is. So my internet in the house, my speed is 150 down. So if I can get even half that, I'll be pleased. So let's go to fast here. This is again an app that I've downloaded from the store. And, yeah, so look at that. It's getting full speed. That is fantastic. 130 megabits per second. Am I saying that right? Megabits, megabytes, megabytes? You know what I'm saying. Megabits. Yeah, I think it's bits. I always get those two confused. Anyways, that is right what I'm supposed to be getting for my network. And that is almost, for me at least, on a lot of these Android TV boxes, is something I never get. So the fact is, this has connected to my 5 gigahertz. It is connecting at full speed, which is going to be fantastic because that's usually the biggest hindrance, the biggest hiccup that I always experience with these TV boxes. That in itself, to me, kind of makes this a win. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to go into it too far. Oh, and just so you guys know, this Alex Lite Edition, this kind of has that, and it probably is in the back end of it, looks like Kodi or any of those other kind of services out there. So if you know how to set this stuff up and you want to be able to put in all your apps so that you can download all kinds of stuff, hey, that's up to you. That's what the internet is for. If you want to go get all that freeness out there. But just watch. because you shouldn't be. I'm just saying, you shouldn't be, but it has it. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave links down below to this box because I do think, again, out of all the boxes I've tried, this one's pretty good, and I'm gonna leave it there. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next video. Later, guys.